Hello everybody, and welcome back to Really Tiny Garage Workshop. We're going to get right to more progress after the last video, fiasco of not getting much done, but a lot of sideways stuff and sidetracks. I want to show what we did here. We're going to check the clearance between the compressor rotor and the face of, let's say, the diffuser assembly. Which is part of the case behind its, which there's a certain range of a gap that you want for airflow. Basically, some of the air flows into that space behind the compressor, but there's a minimum clearance and a maximum clearance. All we're going to do really is set a dial indicator on the end of the rotor shaft, and with the nut removed, we're going to push it from there back until it contacts the diffuser, and we're going to read the dial indicator and see how much it moved. Literally, that's all there is to it. But its amount of travel is equal to the space that was between them. When it's pulled up to where it belongs, it's held in place by the front bearing. That sets the location of the rotating assembly forward and backward axially, and it also holds the thrust. It keeps it from moving. The bearing holds it in place with the nut locked down. So we want to be sure that that clearance is correct. So I'll just show you that little step, and then we actually torque this bearing down using the special made tools, the Bomar made spanner nut holding device, and the little adapter to fit a 1-inch socket onto my spline drive shaft in order to actually turn and tighten. So we'll show you that, and then when we get done with that, we'll go ahead and show a little bit about the some other little progressions on this project. You can see it's coming together slow. Got the engine back on the stand, as we said last time. I got my accessory band here attached, so I can start placing things. Few of it, mainly the plumbing related things, need to be in place so that we can run our lines. All right, so without any more delay, let's go. We'll let you see what we did. Okay, here's an overview. The engine is temporarily lightly bolted back onto the stand so we can work on it. Start assembling and connecting. Here's the new and improved larger fuel cell, thanks to Mark at Bomar. The decals were courtesy of him also. He has a buddy with one of those computerized cutters, and you just get that material and cut it. So I don't know, I just paid tribute to the Air Force. That's where I was. There's a plug for my sponsor there, Bomar Industries. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. There's our cover he made. We got to remember this is a top he made to fit over the existing bottom. So if you'll notice, this is a wavy cut, which he said improves strength and stops warping. This bottom part was the original fuel cell that in the videos, and the top here was, he made a cap basically to go over the top of. We just cut the top of the old fuel cell out. This effectively doubled the height from 10 inches deep to now 20, like 20 and a quarter. I got the band reinstalled here. This has been painted. This is aluminum, but it was starting to corrode, and rather than getting it, honestly, I looked into having it anodized or re-anodized, but these are U-nuts or captive nuts into these little these little pieces here. They have steel nuts inside there, and the process of the acid wash to do the anodizing would destroy them. But I got that installed, so we decided to paint, and it looks nice. It's been enameled. So now we're starting to reinstall some of the plumbing, because I'm going to have to get all this to come together. We have clearances to deal with here. Since this tank has been raised, we are now that much closer to the bottom of the engine. Well, I got to make sure my plumbing works and fits. We have our setup here to check the axial clearance between the compressor rotor, the actually backside of the compressor rotor, and the front edge of the diffuser housing. All right, what we have is it's pulled forward. The bearing is locked in place with some snug bolts here The compressor bearing is locked into its proper place and within the intake housing. I have the retainer installed with a couple of nuts just snug, hold it in place. And then we have the shaft pulled all the way forward, and we've zeroed our dial indicator. Dial indicator mounted so that we're right against the end of the shaft. And now we're going to push, we got to read 0, we're going to push this back until it stops. Okay, we're at about right at our 70 thousandths. That's the limit clearance. You can see we can barely see that scale. There's probably too much reflection on it anyway. It's kind of hard to cut some of the glare down. Okay, well, anyway, I think we're good. It's not too tight and it's not a excessive amount. They give you a fairly wide tolerance of 70 thousandths to 156 thousandths. That's 0.156 inches. Alright, everybody, we got it set up. Got the special tool to hold the nut from turning, and we're going to rotate now the rotor assembly with this spline shaft and this torque wrench. So stand by, and we're going to adjust this to 165 foot-pounds. Alright, get ready here on that edit. Alright, we have her set to 165 foot-pounds. So, here we go. This is the big moment. We're going to torque this. If this doesn't snap and fly across the room or break, and we get a good click out of her, or two, we're good to go. Here we go. As you can see, we're turning the rotor. The compressor inlet blades are moving. It's getting tighter. Boy, I get no click on the ratchet here. Here we go. I was right there, I guess, but I wanted to be sure. Well, there's and one more for Jay. May the force be with you. And I'm saying that to the J44. Okay, wow. Well, it's tight. Let's dial this dude back down. Don't leave it stored torqued up. So there it is, tight. All right, now we'll look at what we did here. Special tool. Okay, we're going to remove our special holding fixture. Let's see if we can get, we'll zoom in here. Alright, now we get a little close up. Here's our lock nut. Here's our spanner nut, and here's our locking ring. And what we have to do is basically turn this until you get the right combination of the 3 inner and the many outer, and there it is. To all line up and drop in place. You see we have 1, 2, 3 tabs that engage with the shaft, slots machined in the shaft, and then the outer tabs obviously drop into this spanner nut. Now we can install our little lock ring here, and that will complete and hold that together, and it won't, the nut can no longer back loose now or turn. It's held in place. Plus it's very tight. Alright, now that we got this spanner nut tight, we'll show you Mark's little idea here, I think. To make this tool to basically hold the nut in place. This is similar to what the factory would do as far as holding the nut in place and turning, but they have a special tool set that gives you all the tools you need to work on this engine, which I do not have. So we had to make, as Jay has said many times, you have to make your own tools if you don't have the originals. What he did was he created this giant socket here with the teeth to grab and mate with the spanner nut, and then you see the ears welded there, the tabs, which mate with this plate, which fits here on these locator pins, these little dowel pins or roll pins, and you saw that in the video. So this slit in there will engage the nut, and then that locks the nut to this housing so it can't rotate. Then we take the stub shaft, which is just one of the original shafts that was designed to transmit power to the accessory drive, which attaches here. Using it as the mechanism for engaging, since that spline is made for that hub spline, we're good there. And alright, using laser, he cut these little stainless steel pieces, which, as you can see, fit right on the spline, and then it, also have a 1 inch across the flats, 1 inch socket. It fits a 1 inch across flats, so then that fits a 1 inch socket, and there you go. They didn't want to cut one giant chunk. Yeah, he cut these in thinner pieces because I'm assuming a 1 inch thick piece of stainless steel would be fairly costly. So that worked great. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to get going on producing the next video, so stay tuned. And thank everybody for taking time out of their busy day to view this video, or all these videos. It's much appreciated. So take care until the next time, and you have a good one. Thanks again.